All right. We're in the after party hours now.
Yay!
Woo! Hey! So, yeah, this is where we kind of bullshit, wind down, answer questions, be exhausted, complain about the session.
Nothing to complain about.
Yeah, we had some good laughs.
Other than Kat killing the stream for a couple minutes.
Yeah. Really, look at it this way. It's the least offensive down we've ever had.
Yeah, it is. There wasn't something broken. It was just a cat.
Hey, look, we all know cat happens.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump into some questionnaires, discuss the campaign a little bit. That sort of stuff.
Do we want to start off? What about starting out with kind of like sharing like our post-game discussion that we have with each other? Just kind of do it live? Do that?
Well, I wanted... Oh my god, you little shit. Hi.
He wants attention.
Hello. Come on up. There you go. Be on camera.
Stabbing you?
He jumps up and he whaps me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, give me attention.
Yeah, it hurts, especially when he gets you like on the arm.
Try getting the inner arm.
That's what he does. It sucks.
Yeah, he aims.
He knows the best way to get attention.
So, we're going to kind of discuss like the game in between, like, you know, questions here and there, but we're going to take questions from on the air and just ones that were pre-posted. Throw this out to you first because you're going to have to go in a little while anyway. You were just able to stay for some questions. The questions that were directed at you: what is your favorite mushroom?
If we're talking real world, the fly agamata mushroom or fly agaric mushroom, because it was typically given to shamans and used recreationally to have visions or to give you feelings of flying across the midnight sky during certain Yuletide celebrations.
Cheddar.
Talking about in the campaign, I would definitely have to say that it would be Blip, seeing as Blip was the first mushroom that came into Cayenne and the party's lives before Blip decided to split into Blop.
Now you have Blip and Blop.
Yes, I have my little glowing antennas.
The only thing missing is a bloop.
No.
What about your favorite fellow druid?
Favorite fellow druid?
Cheddar cheese.
Cheddar.
That's hard to really pick right now, because I've only met a few.
Yeah, you've met quite a few. You've got your little crocodile or little white alligator kobold friend person.
Little caiman kobold.
Yeah. Let's see. You have the new one you just met. What's the other one? You've met a few of them.
Ignatia, that was the very first one.
Yeah.
That made bets. And she ended up winning said bet.
I thought that
Osling's a druid, isn't she? Wouldn't she be your favorite?
Yes, but she's more so follows necromancy.
Yeah, she's a necromancer circle.
yeah, the necromancy druid that Nikolai ran into was pretty crazy, much like Osling.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to pick because the ones that left the more memorable impacts, it feels like there's so few to choose between. So it would really be unfair, but if I had to pick between all of them, I believe it would be the little Cayman druid, for the simple fact that that's where Cayenne met Osling.
Yeah.
Found out she has a blood sister.
And a crazy little talking to her bones all the time.
Yeah, that one was fun.
She had a... Didn't she have a familiar that was a buzzard or a vulture that was on top of her staff, or was that the... Or was that the druid that went with Cayenne to the stables with Leafly and Greenlee?
That might have been that one.
Because she was the one that Cayenne got the bag of wooden figures from.
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't there also one that brought a fuck ton of birds into the...
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
She was the one that had the vulture. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it
she's the one that
wasn't
had the vulture, and she's the one that gave you the bag of figures, right?
Yeah, she's the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
that gave me the bag of figures, but she never really gave her own name at all. She was just kind of crazy and kooky and just wanted to go everywhere.
She was a very young one, right?
Yeah, she was younger. She was younger. Because I gave her something and she gave me something in return, and then she just kind of wanted to hang out. And I was like, you know what? I want to show her my birds. So I showed her my birds, and she gave me a bag of wooden figures so I could summon animals.
It's been pretty useful so far.
Yeah. I somehow summoned an aboleth, which that's fucking terrifying after really looking into their lore and reading about them. I'm like, wait, I summoned that thing.
Yep.
And that's why I was like, oh, I don't know about that one, Chief.
Okay.
Let's see. Throw in a few more questions your direction. What is your favorite natural 20 and your favorite natural 1?
I think the natural 20 was the simple fact that I summoned a portal and donkey kicked a mushroom through said portal that led to the elemental plane of fire.
So shitty.
That was definitely tops. Aside from the bullet, that was definitely how. Oh wait, what? How the fuck did I do that? I can't think of what would be like my favorite natural 1, because I don't really roll many natural 1s where they can't, like where they count. I guess it would be like any time that I've rolled a 1 where I'm supposed to be like careful and I break something, or I end up stepping on someone.
Natural 1 where you wreck the shop, the dress shop.
Yeah, the shop. That was that one would definitely, yeah. Where Cayenne's ass ruined a shop. Yep, that's my favorite. I don't remember exactly which episode that was, exactly which number, but yeah, that's my favorite.
So much collateral damage.
It was one of the early ones for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was before Smiley.
No,
I don't remember. Did I?
No, it was in Willowfall.
Was
Yeah.
it
Was
that
it
I
Willowfall?
Yeah.
went?
Yeah.
Did I roll it like low when they were like when those shopkeepers were making a decision of who was going to doll me up as what?
Yeah.
Because that was pretty bad.
And you were trying to just leave, and that's where you rolled the
That's
1.
not just Cayenne's nightmare. That's the player's own nightmare. If you come at me with hairspray and curlers, I might shiv you. Respectfully, I might shiv you.
You'll get changed,
No.
but with respect.
Also, Zerokane, Albelith, am I scaring you? Because you should be scared. Almost made you do a spectate there.
How did you end up picking the aboleth? Like, it's just a crazy freaking monster.
Random dice rolls, man.
It's the random charts I have.
It is the
man.
random? Okay.
Yeah.
Not only that, the bag, you reach in and it randomly generates a creature.
It's a lot like your deck of cards, and it's just there is a certain assortment. It's not every monster or creature in there. It's there are missing ones.
And if you lose the wooden piece, you lose it for good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't retrieve it after it's gone away,
Yeah.
you lose it for good.
Well, and there's also like a limited use, I guess, because the aboleth, you picked it up and then just kind of...
It's not able to be done again. It was one of those rare one-off chances.
Yep.
I guess the rarer the creature, the higher the chance that it's gone forever.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest question for you, preferred class to play, obviously Druid.
Well, it's between 3, to be honest with you. I'm newer to D&D. I'm not going to say that I know everything, because I really don't. I have to ask our lovely DM half the time, what dice is for what? What do I roll for again?
It's
But
hard to notice that sometimes.
between between these three, it would be between Druid, of course, because with my nature of my real life job, I very much so love nature. But I would also choose Barbarian, because hack and slash, that's a lot of fun. And then, of course, either Sorcerer or Warlock.
Oh man,
I
I'd
love
love to
both
see you
of
just delve into like some of those classes, because you bring like a craziness to the table, and you absorb you get absorbed in the class and your character, and it's amazing.
I love everything magical and everything green, so any of those things has my immediate interest, but I'm also a temperamental person. So playing a barbarian is very, very natural to my natural self.
It would actually be kind of fun to play with you as a barbarian.
Yep, seeing you play
One
a
answer:
barbarian is
can I
like-
kill it with an axe? No. All right.
So-
How about a
Let me know when I can help.
So diving into the deep jokes here, you should name a barbarian Ashley. So, and have a chainsaw for a hand, so then when you rage, you can go ashy slashy.
Man. Honestly, I would love to see Kyan, our player here, actually play a warlock, because I think she could pull that off
Sorcerer
really
Warlock,
well.
I would be really interested in
Dude,
seeing you play. I think
The
that'd be
thing that a lot of people don't realize at
insane.
home is like this game, the stream and everything. This is her basically cutting her teeth on D&D, and that she's
In
learning.
general, yeah.
Yeah, she's learning everything there is to learn.
You only played what, like 5 or 6 games with us before then?
Yeah, and I played a centaur before that actually was blind in one eye and then got blessed somehow and ended up one of her eyes had no dark vision, the other one had 50% dark vision.
Yeah,
It was a
blessing
cat's
from,
eye marble.
the blessing from Ceiling Cat.
Yep.
That was
Yeah.
that was
And
interesting.
then I played a tiefling named Leech.
Yeah,
That was a blood hunter.
yeah. It's like you jumped into the stream, and you jumped into your character, and my door's always open for questions and answers.
I have
Honestly?
a question for you. Have you given any thought as to what patron you would go under with the warlock?
It's a lot of them.
I think she'd have to sit down with me.
So, with a warlock, she's gonna seem really sweet and innocent on the outside. I'm gonna preface that right now.
She worships Cthulhu titties.
Great old one, the Gulak. A lot of people
Go
say
ahead.
No, gonna go a little more screwed than that.
Okay.
Okay, so
Zuga?
Let's get Strahd in here.
Oh,
so an undying warlock.
Fuck.
Have to
giving
be
Strahd
undying.
power in the overall campaign world. Woof.
That is.
She would definitely
She'd be going the more undying route for sure.
For those at home, I know that the D&D source stuff has been updated to respect heritage and things like that, as we do here. But it would definitely be along the lines of like one of the traveling gypsies between Barovia and here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The campaign world.
Yeah, Strahd does allow gypsies
A certain-
some gypsies to travel back and forth.
Yeah, those that work for him. So that would just be crazy. to bring
That
to
would
the
be really insane.
The BBEG
character.
is right next to us the whole damn time.
Yeah.
table. Yeah.
A Strahd
'Cause
warlock would be the most terrifying.
I'm
thing.
not going to lie. When we were getting into Barovia and things like that, that was a favorite of mine because outside of this, I am an avid horror and everything blood, guts, and gore lover.
We're kind of like two peas in a pod there.
Yeah. So everything vampire, undead, ghosts, specters, just dark, gloomy, and anything Transylvanian related. You've got my immediate interest and will keep me locked in that permanent location. So just the idea of Strahd and Mother and all of that, yes.
Yeah, the
And the Reborn too.
like Barovia in the book is fairly dark. The older version is fairly dark, but I just really dig into Lovecraftian and sheer dread of that campaign location. It's one of my favorite locations to play in, and it shows a lot.
Just jump up there like nothing.
Jeez.
My angsty
he wanted the shelf, so he got the shelf.
Yep.
my angsty Fey mouse actually loved that place. Mickey, yes, he loved it and hated it at the same time.
Yeah, I was my tiefling there. We had just got started moving in to the woods.
Here's a question that I actually have for you myself. If not Cayenne, what were you looking at?
Still would have been a centaur, 110%, but would be more draft size.
Yeah, that's
like
concerned because that sounded like glass.
When we're thinking physique wise.
That was cheddar.
Yeah.
Think Ronda Rousey, but
Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh, God. Yeah, we saw that commercial today, and all I can say is, okay.
Okay.
We're not discounting a sponsorship, but
No.
Ronda Rousey as a playing character. Yeah,
And
she's
Red Shadow Legend. She's a legendary champion.
Yeah.
I don't know how to respond to that.
It's interesting.
I'm
Sure, why not?
I'm applauding at how well they actually got her features for her
She
character
is
model.
a good damn fighter.
Digital
Oh, yeah.
scans now are phenomenal.
But the character she probably would have went with more of a ranger or possibly a blood hunter background.
Yeah, I got a feeling you would probably feel very comfortable.
She'd
with
be very tanky in build. I will say that she would be no shorter than 8 feet in height.
Oh, I should make Gunnar so proud.
And
you might have to fight a lizard folk. Gunnar would be swooning.
no.
So, what has been your favorite moment?
That's a hard one. Probably have to say the time that we spent at the post. Because every moment that was spent there was just fun.
Yeah.
To be honest. Nothing bad really happened there at all.
Yeah.
Except Nikolai got glitter bombed the first time.
I think one of the biggest highlights.
Nothing bad.
I think one of the biggest highlights for Cayenne was Osling showing up,
Yes.
because that just took you from left field like crazy.
Yes. Because that wasn't discussed at all prior to the campaign of her having an actual blood sibling.
And surprise, motherfucker!
Best way to get someone off guard is to drop something like that.
I'm so sorry, Sparta. I love you. Please don't be mad to me.
Did
Please
you
don't be
actually
mad
kick
at. No, I think I stepped on his tail. Please don't be mad at me. I love you, bud.
So,
I love you so much.
a really hard one for her would be, what is her favorite seasonal movie?
Seasonal movie?
Yeah, like Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving. By the way, Midsummer is a Thanksgiving movie. Imagine watching that with your in-laws.
They can watch that by them damn selves. Fuck that.
It's the
The
one.
people jumping off the cliffs and bashing their skulls open on the rock willingly did not bother me. I'm not mentioning the scene that bothered me because no.
Yeah.
Because no.
I don't want to get you monetized for that one.
Exactly.
Those of you who don't know, you might not want to.
If you've ever watched a movie called Hereditary,
Oh, man.
then you'll get the gist. You'll get the gist.
Take that to an extreme.
Yeah.
Midsummer's kind of a fucked up movie.
Favorite seasonal movie, if you're talking around like Yuletide or Christmas, for those that don't celebrate Yule, probably have to say one that's always meant a lot to me. It's not even a horror movie. It's the movie Blitzen. Or not Blitzen, Prancer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That was always a favorite movie of mine ever since I was a kid. Another is actually a not so well known animated movie. It's called Annabelle's Wish. Annabelle's Wish is basically a story about a little mute boy who has a calf named Annabelle that he raises. Well, it's always Annabelle's wish for her little boy to talk. And by doing so, Santa grants the wish to give the boy a voice, but then none of the animals can speak to the boy anymore.
Oh.
That's a movie I gotta watch with you. Lamb.
It's a tearjerker movie. And which movie?
Lamb.
That was weird.
That's such an odd.
That was so weird.
Oh my
Like,
god.
how weird?
If I were to take acid before writing a session.
Okay, like weirder than Rubber, and like.
Not as
that
weird.
That movie
as
is
weird.
so stupid.
But so good.
I fucking love that movie.
Are we talking weird like Mad God weird?
Not that weird.
No, not that
Okay,
weird.
because that's like a really great movie.
Kind of like Rubber weird, but
Rubber.
more sensible.
It's so bizarre when it starts punching home things too, and you're just like, that's a twist. That's weird. Okay, that's really weird.
It's like, oh.
A movie I would
Weird.
put on the list for like Indigenous Peoples Day, as I prefer to celebrate that day rather than Thanksgiving. Would definitely be Last of the Mohicans,
Oh, that's such a good.
Really great movie. Amazing soundtrack.
or oh god, I just had the name.
I mean, another one that's kind of like.
What was it? The Indian in the cupboard.
Oh yeah, the Indian in the cupboard. Yeah.
That's another one I like to watch, even though it has nothing to do with the holiday. It's always a movie I watched around that time.
Zero King actually knows the movie you're talking about. I know. So, like, the whole indigenous people movie type of thing. It's just a footnote in the movie, but adds some values.
Yes, that one. Always.
The whole camp scene where Wednesday is basically just like the Indians reject
Camp
the white
Chippewa?
people. Yeah, Camp Chippewa. Yeah.
It's been so long since I've seen those ones.
Such a
Dude, that's almost a yearly watch for me, and I should just own them at this point.
It's been so long.
Like, they're perfect holiday movies.
Yeah.
Let's see. Questions. How many more questions can we ask her before she leaves?
Has to leave.
Let's cross-reference here. What's the best pun that's been thrown out at this table by Tom?
He's made so many, and it's hard to pick.
Really is.
I really do kind of throw out a lot.
You throw out like multiple
That's his
every
whole life.
episode.
Yeah.
Like,
He
that is
literally
a
has a
question.
The
book for
option
them.
comes up, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking take it.
So, Tom, throwing some salt your direction, since life made you a joke, is that why you always have to make the punchline?
Yeah, might as well.
Like, that is a question that can't have an answer. Because it's just...
That's literally a question I cannot answer because every pun he makes is good.
Well,
Well,
Hey, she just
Depends on
complimented
your
you.
definition of good when it comes to puns.
No, like legit. If you can make my eye
Half the
roll so
roast.
hard I feel a pop in my brain, it's good, okay?
Even the
so take the
punster
damn
himself.
compliment and shut up,
now look,
respectfully.
the ones where I get him to say, okay, that was pretty good.
And I'm going to kill you now.
Yeah, because fucking no joke. I don't know what this says about me as a person, but there are some that I know. I hear them wherever the fuck you hear them from, and it puts a smile on my laugh, like in the fucking original Grinch, where it just kind of curls up.
Yes.
And it's like, I know.
I'm going to share that.
I always think of like
Just to
one or
hurt
two
someone.
people that it's like, I can't wait to tell that person because it's going to physically hurt them.
When he actually casts Vicious Mockery.
You haven't even heard me play an Angry Bard yet.
'Cause one of my favorites didn't happen on air because of this guy's background in IT.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I know which one you're going for.
When I told him that I keep all my bad jokes in a dad base, no joke, he fucking groaned in pain for 5 minutes. It was
He
so great.
completely stopped everything that he was doing just to give you a sideways glance.
He had to reboot.
You broke the man.
His command prompt stopped command prompting.
It was just nothing. I heard his fucking eyes roll from another room. It was great.
You physically hurt him with
I know.
words.
I have the way I was feeling, I have a way to relate to you how I felt, but unless you're in IT, it doesn't make any sense to you.
Hey, fuck you, buddy.
All right, fine. If you ever use PS Tools, trying to run a PowerShell command through a command prompt to a remote system, and you see your command go show some of the letters that you typed in, skip a few of them, show a few more letters or characters that you typed in, skip a few more, put a few more characters in there until it finally gets to the end and really slow, and then your command kicks off. That's how I felt. It's like, what?
Cannot compute.
Stop my brain for a second there.
There's a couple I get on Manny, and his only response is, fuck you.
It's a common response from Manny.
And you know what? Every single one of them, I know that that's the response I'm going to get, and I fucking accept it, and I say it anyway.
You know damn well that you deserve each and every single last one
You're
of those
damn
ones.
right I deserve to, and you know what? I'm going to deserve a hell of a lot more of them, too.
God damn you.
Oh my god, this is how he gets people to fuck him.
Man. What the hell was that?
And we are back again.
You heard that too, right?
Yeah.
So, jumping into the other crazy things. Tom,
Uh-oh.
moving on. What's been your favorite moment so far, bud?
Oh, fuck.
You want me to come back to you while you think about that?
You might have to. That's going to take a sec. We've had a lot of really great moments.
Nate, favorite NPC?
NPC?
Yeah. Well, who's been your favorite NPC so far?
Huh. Favorite NPC? You know what? I kind of think probably, honestly, Bandit.
Wow!
Really?
Yeah.
That
It's just...
fucking mad lad?
Yeah!
Jesus!
That character has actually made me seriously think about, taking Nikolai as on a reborn.
God
if
damn.
he ever dies. Just to continue on his mad craziness. It'd be fun.
Contingency plan? I am the
I
contingency
am the
plan.
contingency plan. Why didn't my dad think about this?
I just see a loading screen on the
Yeah, there's been
That
so
had the
many
same
great
level
fucking
of
moments.
energy as, what is this defense? I am the defense.
Oh my
That's the first one that comes to my mind.
Is
Fought
Bandit.
is really awesome.
Fought?
Fox
Yeah.
great.
There's a lot of great ones. Honestly, my absolute favorite NPC is actually one that's not part of the stream campaign. It is a certain little tabaxi by the name of Cage.
Oh, that's a story.
That is a... Do we want to share that live?
We'll have Tom type it up.
That's too long of a story. That would honestly take an hour on its own, guys. Cage is special, though. Cage is really special.
Talk about
yeah,
mad
I can go ahead and
geniuses.
start trying to write that up.
Yeah, Cage
Man.
is whew.
Out of
That-
every character that our amazing DM has created, that one is definitely one of the wildest. And we've only known him for like 3 sessions.
Dude, me running 6 NPCs at once for you guys while managing the whole game. Whew.
Yeah, because Cage wasn't. It just wasn't just Cage. It was also his 5 brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple sisters in there.
Yeah,
5 siblings.
Yeah. And none of the players actually did anything to help birth the characters. They just sort of got adopted by one of them. And that was the only time that said player almost flipped the fucking table.
It's a pretty tragic story.
Zorokin, at least Tom doesn't take some jokes too far for attaching Shadow Legends onto anything that sounds or includes raid.
Yeah, Cage, definitely my favorite. If not Cage, then Sweeping. And
Sweeping's
Feisty.
great.
It's between Sweeping, Feisty, and Cage, but Cage is definitely like really high up there because that killed. I think we were laughing for like a solid 10 minutes straight. That game.
Oh, there is a level of energy for that character.
Yeah.
That is
about
a
you, Tom?
character, man.
I got nothing but love for Noodle, obviously. But I think NPC wise, I gotta go with, again, Manny picked one from a different campaign, and that's what I'm going with. However, this character does exist in the world that our stream campaign takes place in, and that is the character of Irate Bell Chaser.
Unfortunately, I never had a chance to meet this character yet.
That's if she's still alive.
Irate Bell Chaser, shock, Tabaxi of the Munchkin variety. The first one any of us ever came across. Not like the first Munchkin Tabaxi ever in the history of
The campaign world.
in the campaign world, but no player ever came across one before. And a couple of us kind of latched on. Mongo is now the second Munchkin Tabaxi that I've played, and our artist, Rachel, also played one in another campaign.
Feisty. What was it? Frenzy Kneecapper.
Yeah, I played Frenzy Kneecapper, the Barbarian.
Barbarian.
Yeah.
Manny Munchie Maker.
Munchie Maker was actually just a regular Tabaxi, not a Munchkin Tabaxi. And I believe our artist Rachel was playing. What the fuck was her name? Chittering Wren?
Yeah.
Jittering Run, yes.
Paladin. Paladin?
Oh yeah, she's always after the red dot.
Yes.
She almost had her damn head blasted off one time because of that.
That's how she lost her tail.
Yeah, because somebody's character had a red dot, and it just happened to land on her tail.
And it blew off her tail.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that nailed her hatred for the red dot because it claimed her tail.
Man.
And then, yeah, after we came across Irate Bell Chaser, Mai was kind enough to, it's like, alright, everybody likes that fucking character, I guess I'll make it playable. And yeah, legit, like, every time I try to see, like, I get some dumb idea on how a build would work, I want to see it basically on paper. I usually just kind of either throw in Munchkin Tabaxi or Warforged just to see how it'd play out. So I don't think any other NPC has been quite so game-changing.
I know one character in a certain race that was game changing, but I'm not getting into that.
I think I know the one you're talking about, and yeah.
Yeah, I ain't getting into that.
Yeah.
That's amazing, but I don't want to get into it.
I think I know. It's all good.
So, let's see here. A couple of questions aimed in my direction. What in Red and Boo's full height gonna be? Ain't that the question? I know quite a few people at the table are wondering that one about those fucking birds of death and what they're capable of.
Didn't we see full-size versions of them from the person that was selling them?
No, they were just selling Red and Boo.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they're not at full size yet.
How big are they
Need to
going to
speak
be?
yet.
That's actually kind of terrifying to think about when you really sit down and think about it.
Because of their nature, a lot of, like Munchkin tabaxis, nobody knows how long Munchkin tabaxis actually live for because they tend to die on their own accord because they're natural adventurers. Curiosity killed the cat.
They go through all those 9 lives. With
the bird-
intent.
The birds, it's not really known how big they actually get because they tend to die in combat because of their nature. So, it's kind of up in the air about how big they get, but they're big.
Yeah.
They will become very, very large birds, probably somewhere. They make it 15.
Oh, fuck.
Giraffe size, huh? Okay. That's terrifying.
Kind of reminds me of a story when I was first running D&D or playing D&D before I started running anything. Second edition D&D. Had a friend that I invited into a game that was being run by my DM at the time, second edition, advanced AD&D, and I convinced him, dude, I just found this dwarves class handbook. And there's this really cool one in there called a Dwarven Battle Ranger. You should make one. He looked at it and went back and forth and finally decided to make one. But we were at like 15th level. Dwarven Battle Rangers aren't supposed to last that long. I don't think WotC at the time, was it WotC or was it TSR? I don't remember. TSR at the time actually playtested that character at that high level. That thing was insane. It's like, no, not supposed to be like that. They're die at like 5th level just because they're crazy. Makes it to 15th level? How? Why? What? Run!
So another fun one is they got tossed at me is were Ace and Noodles forms on a whim or plan? I know you guys want to know my thought process on these things.
Yes.
Because my thought process always seems to like throw you guys for a loop, and you can never get a grasp on it, which you never will. I'm sorry. Half planned, half on form. It really depends on my creativity. I've always pictured Steel Defenders as I don't go by the book for Steel Defenders. They're kind of like in summoning circle, and you get what you get.
Yeah.
I don't like it being limited. That's, why Starbar has a dire owlbear. Why Ace...
Well, in the book it says you can choose the form of your Steel Defender.
Yeah, but I like it being more natural up to the arcane forces.
Okay.
And that's
Could
kind
have
of...
got an inch one.
Oh my god. That's kind of like where Ace came from. It was like, it's that organicness that happened, and him being originally a flying monkey is him being a flying monkey. As for Noodle, I had a concept in mind, and sitting at the table, finally having a bit more of the family figured out, the mother, as far as Humphrey goes as well, kind of starts to solidify the actual thing. It's like it starts with a concept, eventually gets fleshed out, details get changed, and it gets finalized. Personality kind of fills itself in at that point. I build characters very dynamically, and like they're characters that live within this world, or can just be picked up by a player and have an actual story to go off of. I try so hard not to make a one-dimensional character because that's boring.
Yeah.
A lot of the guards, that you come across them, they're fairly one-dimensional, but they do have characteristics to them. And if you guys did push them harder, there could actually be story there, because I can go with that on the fly.
Yeah.
So, it's like even minor NPCs, I can give you a story to them. Might take me a few moments, but they'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ace and Noodle. Ace, organic, fully, just kind of happened. Now he's just this fucking crazy
Manticore.
Manticore abomination, and Noodle is now.
Bipedal Manticore. Pretty freaking crazy.
Now Noodle is just Noodle or nudes.
A rainbow-colored little ferret.
No, he was multicolored.
It's pretty cool, though.
Hey, he's like a fucking glow stick candy cane man.
Yeah.
A little cleric.
Yeah.
Yeah. You finally found out what the note said. That kind of made you tear up a little bit before
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah, that kind of hit hard.
You want to share it for people at home?
Not yet.
All right, fine. Be that way. I can just read it right
that
now.
way.
Hey, if you want to read it, you can.
Okay, Sparta.
God.
Sparta. Here, buddy.
So yeah, that's just kind of the direction I go. There's a lot of thought put into everything, and there's a lot of stuff that gets cut and changed because it just does not fit or feel organic. And that's one of the things I stress the most about my campaign worlds is it has to feel organic. It cannot feel forcefully placed there or someone placed it there just for character interaction. And you're gonna have to learn that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There are multiple DMs sitting here right now, actually, and some of us at some point might actually be DMing the game.
Yeah.
And each of us have very different styles of DMing, but we all got to try and like match the same style.
Oh, you gotta match my style.
No.
Or at least fit into
Okay.
the area.
Yeah, my style of DMing is very different and wild compared to what Mai's does. Hers is like very methodical. Mine is kind of all over the place.
That's a word.
Yours is like a Jackson Pollock painting that's been vomited out of the back of a hippo.
Wow.
Wow. Sheesh.
You said all over the
12 years of work being fucking thrown apart.
place. You expect salt from me?
Oh, I expect nothing but salt. Like, there are days where I'm kind of surprised there are still oceans.
Someone said, you're what happened to Mars.
Pretty much. No, yeah, no, each of us have varying styles of DMing, and hers on another level. Like, I cannot compete.
These things are too good.
Oh yeah, they are. Good chips.
Whoops.
Okay, this one's gonna be a bit for everybody, but it's more so aimed for you. We're gonna keep it stream related. Best roleplay moment. Yeah, start thinking, bud.
Keeping it stream related, best roleplay moment. I think, and honestly, it was a little bit, it honestly was, like, me just like, how would this character honestly react? Was when he found out that, when Scabbard found out that he was a king, and because of that, it's like, oh, this is terrifying. This is different. And having to play it off is like, because the player himself is like, this is awesome. But the character is like, I don't want this. This is terrifying. I don't know. I'm shrinking up into my own little hole.
And then in the same breath, also the realization about Kippa, too.
Yeah. And the whole endeavor, I think, just that, playing it off as, like, the hesitant king. And eventually, like, making from being hesitant to slowly becoming accepting. And then finally understanding.
Glad to see Sweetie on the stream.
Now, of course, there's still a lot for Scabbard to learn. A lot, because he's still very new to it. But I think that was the greatest, like, the greatest bits of roleplay for me, honestly. Are going from hesitant king to realizing that there are responsibilities that I need to take, and I need to step up and do it. Those are some of the, like, my favorite moments, honestly.
What about you, Nate?
I would say probably the whole couple episodes of getting the fence, or as Nikolai knows her, Wraith, reinstated to the guild. for many reasons. The biggest reason really is that Nikolai has lived his whole entire life being this diminutive, next to useless thing that his family and friends always have to help for everything because he's only a foot tall. And he's made it a personal goal to try to help someone wherever he goes. So that was pretty cool to be able to pull that off. So probably all that stuff was pretty cool.
Hey, buddy. You okay?
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. One of the moments you often bring up is like the interaction with Thrall Glitter Gold without even knowing it.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of fun. The first time he actually met a god in the flesh, it was just some dude. He had no idea.
Yeah, that.
He still has no idea.
What about you, Tom?
One
I've
that
made you
comes-
cry so many times on stream.
Yeah, when we first started, I didn't think I was going to be the weeping bitch of the bunch.
Well,
I figured at some point in time, yeah, somebody would probably get moved to tears. I didn't think it was going to fucking be me. But it is what it is.
well, so to help you, Tom, I will in our 0 sessions. She
That's
made me,
actually what I was going to bring up.
She made me cry a little bit by revealing some of Nikolai's past. Like it was like intense.
I think the Warforged moment is the one that
Warforged
got
moment.
everybody, though.
Yeah.
That
With
one,
Meacham.
yeah, there's that moment that I don't think I can get too far into.
That was an amazing moment, granted, yeah.
Because like this dude didn't even fucking tear up at the end of SLC Punk. Okay, that one, everybody fucking cries except for him.
It's great.
And with everything that happened, for him to like take his glasses off and actually like, no, everybody else move on. I fucking need a minute. It's like that was fucking monumental. Outside that, for what has actually happened on camera, as dumb as this fucking sounds, but like a bit of that rave that Mongo and Cayenne were kind of holding in the fucking hotel room that time. Because like some of my favorite fucking moments are when like all of the siblings are like
Siblings?
fucking yes are fucking bickering back and forth, but everybody's still making like their points and everything. But then once all of us also get on the same page, that is fucking great.
One time where Nikolai told Cayenne get good. That was so funny.
That part where she told you that's like, I won't fucking begin to forgive you until you're like fucking underground. I don't understand what that means
I don't
already.
understand
Dig a
what that
hole.
means, but fine. Start digging a hole. I'm sorry.
Quite literally buried himself alive.
Like buried himself like fucking waist up to his waist. He's like, well, okay, that's technically, yeah.
Zero King, every turn with royalty leaving Scav. So this is my life now. Yeah, the pre-stream stuff that comes up here and there that I kind of hush a little bit. We did 0 sessions leading up to this before we got on the air because I wanted these to be very well-established characters. The reason why we keep it off the air is we'll come back to it someday in some ways, but right now I wanted these characters to have depth to them to workshop it, for them to get to know each other, because that's how the characters are supposed to be. If we had just done the 0 session on stream, they would have been trying to find their footing with these characters, and they wouldn't be established or be remotely where they are right now.
And that was a struggle to be. I have never struggled
Yeah.
so much with making a character.
Your character
Usually-
changed so many times.
Look,
It was
let me
ridiculous.
put it in retrospect. I am so well at home with making characters that there are times when I have to delete like 50 plus characters from my D&D Beyond like every couple of like months. Scabbard went through I don't know how many different. He was 4 different races. He was multiple different classes. I still can't find a good voice for him. I have.
Yeah, that's the fucking truth.
I couldn't find a good personality for the character. Everything that I tried to put together, nothing just wanted to click. And I have never struggled with putting together a character as much as I did with Scabbard. Usually I'd be like, oh, we need a character? Alright, give me like 5 minutes. And this has happened. There have been times where our DM's like, hey, can you put something together real quick? Done in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Scabbard took fucking months. And I still don't know.
That struggle comes through on stream all the time.
It does.
And it's amazing how that happened. Because you've DM'd for some of the characters that I've made. They're pretty wild and wacky and fun. But with Scabbard, holy shit. So the 0 sessions really helped with that though.
Yeah.
And now that like everything has like come, I think when it finally got up to the point to where we were at the post, that's when I was like, okay, I got it.
He had mentioned the next season we might actually do the 0 sessions live, huh? That'd be kind of fun.
The next campaign, within a couple of years, will be taking place in the same campaign world, but the characters and all the 0 session stuff will be happening on the air because the characters won't be established with each other at all.
Okay.
One of the requirements will be these characters cannot know anybody in the party. Everybody will be coming to this party as an independent operator and filling out each other's characters on the air.
That is gonna fucking be rough.
Oh yeah.
On top of that, I think you also said that these characters are also like already somewhat established adventurers too.
It's going to be interesting. I'm still working out the details for that. It's a couple years off. Things are liable to change between then and there.
Oh yeah.
I might actually become a good DM at that point.
And TPKS, so that we just go on to another.
That's a very real possibility, honestly. That could actually happen. Season 2 of this show
could start
much sooner than we
2
expect.
weeks.
It could be a couple years. It could be a couple weeks.
It's not my goal to kill you guys. It's my goal to tell a wonderful story.
Yes, we know.
The thing is,
Shit happens.
Dice, man. RNG. You never know.
Now, one of the things I actually liked about having those 0 sessions is it takes me a few sessions to actually get my head around the fucking character. It's like, yeah, I'll build them a certain way and kind of assume I'm going to play them a certain way. Then they get into the campaign. Half that shit changes. Minimum half.
Let's see. Another one. This is more aimed at Nate, but everybody else can chime in. Favorite and most interesting magic item?
Favorite and most interesting magic item?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, the most interesting one is probably the little miniature workshop. He really wants to figure that fucking thing out. The thing has got his attention.
He's got the player or the character?
Both. Yeah. Yes. Favorite magic item? It's probably, really honestly, I mean, I think Snake Chain is really freaking dope. Ace is technically a magic item. He's really freaking dope. But haven't had the opportunity really to use Snake Chain or Snake Chain too much. But I think it's really cool. But Bill Nigel, he's really freaking cool.
Smashing!
That's just a funny character.
Great character.
You guys start thinking about it too.
2 other items that both myself and Nikolai want to know more about is the demon in multiple parts and multiple boxes, and the spooky, scary chest that we had to tie up with lots and lots of chain. He totally wants to know more about it, and so do I.
What about you, Mango?
Okay, so one of my favorites, I think we already know what I'm going to answer there.
Yeah, you and that damn glitter one.
Damn straight. But the other actually, my original response was probably going to be Humphrey, but to me, he kind of feels more of an NPC than an actual magic
and that's
item.
why I stepped away from naming Ace as a magic item, because he's more of an NPC.
Yeah. What was the criteria there? Favorite and what?
Favorite, most interesting magic item?
Most interesting. Oh shit.
Lots of those are open and posted.
That box.
Which
That
one?
card box.
The card box?
That one's fucking interesting because I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna get.
This one's actually interesting regarding your character issue. A couple of DM storytellers saying the best way to practice being in character is to record yourself a video and try and see what you can change or do.
Oh, I've done that. You don't understand. I can jump into a character easily, but for some reason, when it comes to Scavard, I got nothing. I don't have an excuse. It's just 404, character not found.
What about you? Magic item.
For me.
Yeah, that card box, man.
Yeah.
So, one thing I have learned about RDM, is when it comes to magic items, there's like 99.9% of the time there's a story behind them. And for me, one of the most interesting ones is one of the first ones I found, and that was a little thing called the Mad Jolt. And it was a very short-lived item. It was used so much when we found it, but once we started adventuring, someone fucking broke it and still owes me one. This was a uniquely made, a kobold-made ballista that you could carry around. It was essentially a bow gun that was portable. And this thing had multiple functions. And one of the things you could do with it was basically utilize it for certain things. You could mount it on stuff, you can carry it around, place it down on stuff, but you could put more than just regular things into it. And I thought of so many ways this would be useful. Like, hey, what if you put a potion in there and just fire it off so that way it just made this giant healing mist. And someone fucking broke it!
Okay. Let's just say Scavard should feel lucky and paid back that he's not the former king Scavard of Essencrest after breaking his Reach Magica.
Payback, bitch. But these
that fucking gizmo
even.
of yours is pretty fucking badass. I am not gonna lie.
But if it's not the Mad Jolt, then it definitely is probably gonna be either the Compass of Truth or the Red Bandana of Roy the Berserker. Because I don't know the stories behind those, and I'm super curious because I know at some point we will learn it. But at the moment, I definitely want to say it's probably got to be the Mad Jolt, because that was such a cool item. And that played heavily into the early days of Scavard being a ranger.
That brings up the other question that was posted for you. Ranger or Paladin?
Ranger or Paladin?
Which one do you like more?
What do I like more? I'm not going to lie. When I first started getting into tabletops, Rangers and Paladins, they're fun. I didn't enjoy the Paladin very much at all in D&D. When it came to Pathfinder and other systems, I actually loved Paladin.
Palandrum?
Paladin, but when it came to D&D, I didn't like it because you were shoehorned into playing a very specific play style with the Paladin. There was very little leeway with it.
3, 5, and 2E.
Yeah. So it was the Ranger. But with 5e, I actually really enjoy the Paladin a lot, mostly because it's very similar to my personal favorite class, the Warlock. And when playing a warlock or paladin, you're borrowing power from a god. One is by making an oath, the other one is by creating a pact. And you are placed in this unique situation where you have to be careful about what you do, because everything you do has a potential consequence behind it.
Even saying, fuck you, buddy.
You could accidentally break your oath, or you could accidentally break your pact, or you could enhance your oath or take up another oath that's still similar to it, similar to how you can go ahead and pick up a pact that's similar or stronger or even equivalent, or even like trading off. And a lot of that stems with like the different ways that you can play a paladin or warlock.
Party of Warlocks win.
So, with paladins and warlocks, you have a lot of variety you can work with in 5e. Not all warlocks have to be evil. There are benevolent gods that you could go ahead and work with. Malevolent is benevolent.
Benevolent.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, you said something else.
I said benevolent.
No, get it.
But the same thing works with paladins. Just because paladins are worshippers of deities doesn't necessarily mean they're all good. For instance, you have Asmodeus, you have Yanagu, you have Loth. They would have their own paladins too. And that's where there's like so much variety that works with it. So if I were to choose between the two, I would go paladin for 5e. But if we're looking at like other systems such as 3.5 or even like Pathfinder, stuff like that, I would go with Ranger.
I'm gonna throw one at you.
Oh.
Bard or Wizard?
Oh, fuck. One of these days, I swear to God, I'm going to play a fucking Bard Wizard.
Barbarian? Or Wizard Variant?
A Bizzard.
The Bizzard.
If you can actually show me how to make the Barbarian Wizard work, yeah, I'd fucking do it.
So, Bard Wizard, would that be a
I
bizarre?
can do it. I've done it. You've seen me do it.
Anyways.
I think Wizard just barely fucking ekes out the victory on between those two. Just because usually when I go to play a Bard, I usually go Lore Bard. Just because I want to get the magical secrets and get just a bigger fucking spell list.
He's a whore.
Basically. But when it comes to wizards, I played a couple of different ones. Then Mongo is one of the Unbound ones, which still trying to fucking wrap my head around.
Can't do that, Mike. Almost killed me.
I've done that multiple times.
She almost killed you by calling me a whore.
It's the way she said it, okay?
So just because I had a transmutation wizard, I had what was 5s again?
You started off 5s as a chronomancer.
No, he was never one of those.
What was it?
He was a war mage, but I didn't think that really fit.
That's right. You
So
turned
then
him
I
into
think-
a cryomancer.
No, that's where he got the book from.
No, you're right.
That's where he borrowed the cookbook from. Yeah, I had a wizard that basically
been a
just
while.
stole a spell book because he thought it was a cookbook.
Man, we got to get back to that
Fucking
campaign
great.
at some point.
But I think wizard, just because I played a few more of the subclasses, that's really about it. That's the only reason.
Honestly, I don't remember what time. It's been a long while.
I think he might have been. I mean, I could fucking go in D&D Beyond and actually look it up, but I think he was an Order of the Scribe.
Yeah, no, fives fees and discount. Those characters are wild.
He has to
That's
be
a
a
story.
lizard of some sort. That way he can be a blizzard wizard lizard. God, it's a pun. Don't tempt him to play a pun.
That's a story that'll be shared on the Discord at some point. because that's actually one of my own campaigns there, and these three.
I've never played a lizard folk before.
These three have created unique
Yeah,
characters.
it's always him that does the lizard folk.
Dude, all my NPC lizard folk.
Yeah, I mean, you've set the bar pretty high, so it's just like, because like my go-to races are like Warforged and Munchkin Tabaxi, despite the fact that the number of Warforges that I've actually played are very, very small. I think I've only done like 2 of them, but anytime that I bring one of them in, something happens to the fucking campaign and we never go back to them. So I only get to play like a session or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Let's see. Other questions.
But all of my Warforged all have a very simple naming convention.
It's always it's all.
I always give them a number series, like series of numbers. Mark, another number.
This is a chunky one. This is, you can sit there and just breathe and absorb the sun rays. This is for the 3 of us.
Okay.
Source of inspiration for the games.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah.
Well, you start.
Shit.
I have to think of the names.
So crazy enough that everything is inspired by something. There is no way to get around that. Everybody is inspired by something from somewhere, some way to do something.
Yep.
So so I'd used the 5e system as a basis, the bare bones of things. But you found out, and Nate's found out, you can't trust the lore pages on anything for any of the deities I use or anything, because they're different.
Oh yeah, like okay, myself and Nate, we are huge lore dumps when it comes to the world of D&D. There's a lot of stuff you throw at us, and we can usually just on the fly know it. None of it applies to my games, because everything she does is almost 100% homebrewed, and anything that's not homebrewed has a slight twist to it.
Yeah, I pull from many different inspirations. A lot of it's dark gothic, Lovecraftian, actual history. I pull from all sorts of different areas to I research actual city things in order to build my campaign cities of how are these cities structured, how do they flow, what were the strong points and things like that. When I'm building cities, I tend to go into that minutia of detail to structure it out, what things need to be in place to support this many people, how many people will be supported by this.
Hey, 12 o'clock. Happy New Year's,
Yeah,
everybody
Happy
out
New
there.
Year's.
Woo.
Happy New Year's. Well,
And so my source of inspiration comes from a lot of different areas, but that's literally where it is inspiration. I love to just build my own thing. I really enjoy playing in my own campaign world and being this is how things are. I want you guys to enjoy it.
Inspiration for games. Honestly, when it comes to inspiration for my games, I've been working on my campaign world for the past 12, 13 years now. And a lot of the inspiration I get from my campaign world is heavily inspired based on books, sometimes games, and comics. But the biggest inspiration for me is actual real world culture and music. For instance,
For a minute, I thought you were gonna say late night infomercials.
I can see that.
So,
late night infomercials.
for instance,
That would be a crazy game. It's what the fuck?
You know what? If it's a market-based city, I think it would work.
There actually is a market-based city in my campaign. That
You
have
come
not
across
looked at.
a king that's named Billy Mays. But wait, there's more!
But no, a lot of the inspiration I get from my campaign, all the settings and such, comes from actual cultures and music and such. For instance, when I'm writing out encounters or writing out cities and such, I will sit down, I will go ahead and pull up a playlist, and I have about 12, 13
comfortable
playlists
there,
each
Sparta?
for dedicated situations such as ambience, battle, tension, and all that. Each one easy, a good 40 plus hours. But I also look at actual cultures. For instance, the Feywild in my world setting is a mixed influence of both Asian, Aztec, and Mayan mythologies put together.
I got a question for you. So why is it whenever we get to a new city in your campaign, if we blow too hard, it just falls over?
Because it's made out of cardboard.
It's really hard.
And why is there 8-bit muffled music behind a box?
I just see that fake town that they made.
I think another
Blazing
sea has
Saddles.
been dried up now.
It's really hard to describe certain things. So a lot of it can sometimes sound similar, but when it comes down to it, a lot of the influence for some of the things that I create in my world setting are inspired by it. Like Feywild, for instance, inspired by Asian mythology, Aztec mythology, and all that mixed together. You have things such as deities and spirits and such that exist. But if you take a look at an entirely different region, such as the sea, one of the areas, the collovial coast is what it's called. It's heavily inspired off of what's it called, Polynesian, as well as some I forget the Celtic and all that. There's a lot of it inspired by real world mythologies and such, and that's my inspiration is music and actual real world mythology.
I also love this comment from Zero King. If I'd use Saturday Night Live skit commercials if I had to use infomercials.
Yes.
That would be
Fuck
crazy.
yeah.
Oh, that would be such a hard campaign to follow.
For instance, in the campaign where involving those characters, 5 Sphingies and Discount, the city that they're in right now is heavily influenced by the early Italian Renaissance, where it's there's a lot of Shakespearean stuff,
Manny,
a lot of plays and such.
But you're rambling and repeating yourself.
Sorry. Sorry. But that's my inspiration.
What about you?
Oh, I can talk to.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
6 minutes later, you're allowed to talk as he repeated himself 3 fucking times.
A lot of my inspiration comes from books I've read.
Wheel of Time.
I only read a little bit of that, which is great.
You should read Dark Tower.
I think I read that one.
It's a long one. The Gunslinger series by Stephen King.
The book's so much better than
I
the
read one of his very first books, actually, Eyes of the Dragon. It's one of Stephen King's first books, and it's actually really good.
Oh, I love...
which is I think the origin of the Dark Tower series.
Maybe.
But that said, yes. So books I've read like Stephen King's Eyes of the Dragon, Piers Anthony, Terry Brooks, Shorter Sonora, Piers Anthony, the Xanth series is the Piers Anthony. I take a lot of inspiration from there, of course, Tolkien. Unless you're not running fantasy, I don't know how you don't take some inspiration from him.
One thing I took from from Tolkien is probably one of the worst lessons you can take from Tolkien. If there's lore, there's not enough lore.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to tone that back sometimes.
And I tend to go hypercritical with the Tolkien-esque-ness of my campaign world where there's lore. And
Yeah.
it gets really heavy in places.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that some of your players are nothing but a bunch of lore junkies, not
Like-
really seeing it as a bad thing.
One of Tolkien's books that he never actually completed, I think his son finally completed it, the Silmarillion, is like reading the Bible. It was so full of history of Middle Earth. It was just insane. It was so difficult to run. In fact, I think I only got 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah, that book alone. If you really want to go a deep dive into the world of Tolkien stuff, that book, the Silmarillion or Simula, I forget how to pronounce it. It goes deep.
Yeah.
How deep? As deep as the abyss.
Yeah. Other things I take inspiration from, especially recently, because I've always been wanting to take my campaign to the future. A lot of sci-fi stuff. A lot of stuff kind of akin to Doom, but not that weird. more interesting and actually way more in the future. So yeah, it's pretty much a lot of sci-fi, fantasy. This is where I take my inspiration from, and of course, the what's it called, real world mythology and stuff.
I could just see it. Munchkin Tabaxi Xenomorph. Just his little Peter Petter of adorableness.
A Xenomorph being adorable. I don't see how that's possible.
Well, it's possible. You just gotta believe.
Oh, I got a good question, actually. And this works for everybody, actually. If not D&D, what is your favorite system to work with?
Palladium.
Palladium is fun.
Rifts and such, yeah, that's a lot of fun. You can do anything, like literally anything.
I know.
I played a dragon in a Robotech world with Palladium.
I know Tom doesn't have a lot of experience with different platforms.
Yeah, because I know. I've only been at this for. It seems like only a few years.
Oh, it's longer, bud.
I know.
You weren't gray when we started.
Yeah. God, what was it? We started with 3.5, and Nate added in a little bit of Pathfinder. Then eventually we worked our way over to 5e, and that's where we've been as far as D&D goes. But outside,
It wasn't Nate, it was me. We were running 3.5, and then I pushed for the switch because I was
5th edition, yeah.
hybrid. Yeah, and I pushed us to 5e because I'm like, hey, let's jump on 5e.
Yeah.
But that's as a group. That's
Yeah.
helpful.
Totally
But
skip 4th
outside
edition.
of that, the only other main RPG that we played was that Call of Cthulhu one.
Yeah.
I know we played the Aliens one, but we only did that one time. And I know
Well,
we
we did
played,
it twice. One with fuck, my brain just blanked out.
It's one where you were the DM and one where
Doug is.
AV guy was the DM.
Yeah, and his was actually really fun.
Oh, his was amazing.
yeah, this was great. But yeah, I guess it'd probably just have to be the Call of Cthulhu one, just because
Yeah.
we got it down where we could make a character pretty quick, and fuck, did we have to make him quick?
Yeah, we always had to make
Man,
it quick.
if you want to talk about
Who was
brutal
it? Like,
game systems,
yeah, Adam had to make 3 characters in one freaking session.
No, I think it was just
4.
4.
It was 4.
so Call of Cthulhu.
He's like, because at one point, I remember him, like, his character died. And he's like, if I have to make another fucking character, I'm going home instead.
Man,
Because that was a rough game.
that game system is extremely brutal, but it teaches you a lot of lessons really
Well,
fast.
Well,
Yeah, the
thing,
first one is don't get attached to your character.
Yeah.
Yep.
well, the thing is like the Lovecraft game it's rough to begin with. The 3.5 one, it's designed to be rough. It's not supposed to be in the favor of players, unless you investigate, you're methodical, and you're very slow at it, and you run from goddamn near everything.
Funnily enough, it's actually, and I looked at this for it, it's actually the #1 recommended game to go for people that want to get into tabletops. It's like, why would you do that to someone?
Yeah.
Because it teaches a lot of lessons. First,
The thing,
don't
the
get
other
too
thing
attached
about
to your
it
character.
is like, I know so much like horror and Lovecraftian lore. That's like one of my bread and butter things.
Cosmic horror, it's a huge favorite of mine as well.
Yeah, yet you know very little about the actual Lovecraftian stories.
Yeah.
It's one of my pet peeves, bud.
Anything cosmic horror related, I love it. But yeah,
Yeah, cosmic horror is like, you're like, oh, I love cosmic horror, yet you know so little about the actual Lovecraft stories. But it's like, I just took that, the Lovecraft system, the Call of Cthulhu 3.5, and I just ran with it. I'm like, alright, this is going to be balls to the wall. Let's see all the crazy shit I can just unload on the players at the table.
So much fucking crazy shit. The only thing that actually kind of starts at... I'm only going to use the term pet peeve just because I don't know a better one. Is that we have started damn near countless Call of Cthulhu games.
I never finished a single one.
How many we actually fucking finished?
None. The characters keep dying too.
You know, because I don't give a fuck if my character dies. I don't give a shit. We got the cheat sheet. We can literally throw a character together in like what 10 fucking minutes.
I'll throw this out there.
But the fact that like the one where the wolves carved in clever, we never finished that one.
So
there was so much storyline that I wanted to know.
So the problem with that one is we got to an amazing point where we're getting to a lot of really good points in that game. We were really getting like to the midpoint of that game. The problem I have with that, and it's a very rare case of something happening, I just absolutely lost my mojo on that game and interest. Like, it just died in the water instantly.
Yeah, it's something that happens as a DM. That's why I haven't. One reason why I haven't DM for.
And that's one of the very few times where it's just like.
It's just not there.
In the other Lovecraftian games where we jump in, it's like we get into the sessions, like you say, things are moving along at an okay pace, but then we just stop. And then it's just like. I lose track of where we're at in that, and it just kind of like, okay, we need to start fresh again.
That one with the time loop. That was a fucking fun one.
I think my favorite Call of Cthulhu game was the one where you treated it like the SCP Foundation.
That was pretty cool.
That was a fun one.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, our AV guy, Doug, he brings just a certain chaotic level to the table and always has such cool characters for those games.
Yeah.
My personal favorite system. I want to say Pathfinder, but that would be a lie. The first system I started with, which I actually enjoy a lot, and a lot of people don't like playing it, is actually Shadowrun.
Yeah, because you ruin it for everybody.
What? It's a fun game system, but a lot of people don't like playing it because the rule book is extremely fucking difficult to work with. It expects you to understand prior editions.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the
ridiculous.
system itself, it heavily punishes the player and the DM from deviating too much from stuff. You can go ahead and try to change things up a lot, but it's one of those systems that kind of forces you to go into a very specific play style. And unfortunately, that can be very off-putting for some people. But it's so much fun when you actually like really get into it.
You want a game that's an unforgiving dominatrix? It's Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That game's got to actually have safe words.
It do feel like that sometimes.
Now there is one system that I do want to try, but eventually I gotta read the one fucking book that it has. And that's just the Transformers RPG one. Renegade kind of came up with a system. They did a Transformers, Power Rangers, a G.I. Joe one. I think there might be one or two other ones too. I know it uses a D6 system, I think. Like I said, I haven't read the book. So I don't know how much I'd enjoy that system.
Well, the Aliens uses a D6 system and a panic system, and you really enjoyed that one.
Yeah. Yeah, the limited dice systems are interesting. Like, one of the systems I've never had the opportunity to play in, and I've always wanted to play in, I actually bought a butt ton of the books for it, is GURPS.
Oh, GURPS. Oh, man.
GURPS. Generic Universal Role-Playing System.
I played that like once, and I'm like, I don't understand this.
It's so open-ended, and it's just cool. The concept is just cool, but it's just a D6 system.
Yeah. I think that's another reason why a lot of people don't like Shadowrun too, is that, yeah, it's a D6 system, but you need a fuck ton of dice. Like, the book itself actually recommends a minimum of 20 dice.
Hey, the Star Wars game would like a word with you.
Oh, no, that's another one.
That's, the Star Wars, the original Star Wars game, that's where you get these little stupid
So the Star Wars game...
6-sided dice. You need hundreds of them.
For you,
Yeah.
You're rolling dick tons of dice. You need micro dice because you're rolling so many of them. Standard dice don't cut it.
Yeah, because your whole table would be full of dice if you use standard dice.
Yeah, the Star Wars game, Nate told me about it, and I looked into it, and I went, All right,
That's crazy.
that exists.
I've heard about, like, horror stories about the Star Wars system. Never actually played it myself. And I heard, like, it's a really great game, but it takes forever.
That's the thing you would learn about. It. Oh my God, feel my age here. The younger tabletops don't really lean into is the slow burn. A lot of the older systems, like 1E, 2E advanced, even a little bit of 3.5 before it became opened up more.
Man, I tried understanding THACO.
GURPS, all those older systems, even like the early Cyberpunk, they're all slow burn games, and it just takes forever to get the direction that they were played over the course of years.
Yeah.
And years to just reach pinnacles of things. If you were to like compare, like take like 5e and show it to someone of that time, they'd be like, "Is your game in fast forward? Things are happening so quickly.
So freaking quickly, yeah.
Things are moving along at such a pace. Nothing has a chance to breathe." And
Well, that's why a lot of old timers will bring up, complaints about, combat taking so long. It's like, how do we shorten combat and stuff like it's a role playing game. Combat is not your primary function in the game. You're supposed to role play. Like, it doesn't matter if your combat encounter takes an hour and a half, because it's once in a while thing.
Like, not everything needs to be resolved with violence either. Like, that's the whole point of it, is you have options.
that's happened numerous times during the stream campaign. Is you guys have options, and you've taken those options.
The Goldballs thing.
The Goldballs.
That was always on the teeter of just going insane.
That was such a tension here at the table, because it was just that teetering point of like, are we gonna fight? We're not gonna fight. Is there a way out of this? And everybody's looking at me off stream like, is there another fucking option here? You always give multiple options. I don't feel like I have another option here, Captain.
All right, part 2 of that question: your least favorite system.
Least favorite system? As much as I actually know the system, probably 2.5.
Their second edition, Advanced AD&D.
Or even 1 edition, if you really want to go archaic.
I don't know. There's something just...
Yeah. Zero Keen. Almost every horror story about Call of Cthulhu I've heard that was complaining about it as a system has definitely shown me to fear it. So there's 2 forms of Call of Cthulhu. There is the old one that was barely invested in by Wizards of the Coast, the 3.5 system. I recommend that one. It's fun. It's easy to jump into 3.5 if you play 5e. And you can pull a lot of stuff from D&D Modern and Homebrew and stuff and just plug and play that so easily, so you have a lot of resources. The other one is the Chaosium system that uses percentiles. So everything that rolls off your percentile systems, they increase those odds of success. It's a different system, but it's still good. To jump into some of the questions from earlier, I remember a Call of Cthulhu game where you actually stopped under every single light and locked your doors, and you were paranoid as fuck the entire drive home.
Mm-hmm.
What?
You were there for
that. There's a couple of fucking Call of Cthulhu games that it's just like, I don't want to fucking stop at this light because it's just like I'm fucking tripping out. So it's like, even on, like, I gotta take the fucking freeway home, and it's just like, as soon as like another car's coming into the lane, like, fuck this, I'm changing lanes. It's like, I'm giving those motherfuckers, I want as much room in between them and me as humanly fucking possible.
Wow,
if
dude.
I have to get off of the fucking freeway, I will.
Dang, dude.
I've gone under everybody's skin at the table regarding Call of Cthulhu and really dug into people's like primal fears and fears they didn't know they had.
Yep. Oh man.
Yeah, like one of the favorite things you could always send Tom is porcelain dolls.
Fuck off.
Okay,
Look,
such a fucking
porcelain doll thing. Can I please explain this? just real quick.
Go
As
for
quick
it.
as my fucking wordy ass can get.
Dude, he would like a word with you.
No, I ramble. I am
Yeah,
guilty
so
as
do I.
fuck of that.
We were playing one of the many Call of Cthulhu games that we were doing, and she loved to throw fucking porcelain dolls at us. And for whatever reason,
They're so fun.
my character got a hold of a shotgun, and we were in a small confined area, so it's just like, okay, they're fucking coming at me. It gets to the point where my character's the only one left. It's like, okay, racket, blast one, racket, blast one. She's having me do some fucking, like, okay, roll to attack, okay, now roll another check. Didn't even dawn on me that's like, oh, right, I'm shotgun, big, loud boom in small confined area.
You are
I'm
now
making everybody dead. So finally it gets to the point where it's just my character, one last one. I can make the check to not lose my hearing, but I cannot fucking make an attack to save my goddamn life. Everyone else is down. It's like the last fucking shot. I've got like no HP left. Roll the fucking dice. Like, all I have to do is just beat a goddamn 10. Cannot fucking do it. Finally, everybody else is just so irritated with me about this. It's like, fuck you. Grab a different dice. You've been failing every check
Yeah,
this
this is
fucking
before you.
game. So it's like, I went through, no joke, every fucking D20 I had on me.
And lots of hours.
Nothing
How
made
long
it
did
over.
that session last?
Oh my god.
Oh, dude, you have
I
no
was
idea.
not here for this one, guys.
No.
I'll get to
And-
that after he's done.
After I go rail through all of my D20s, none of them went over 10. All I had to do was beat a 15, and that was with my modifier. And it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, somebody else handed me a fucking die. I rolled that. It was like a 9. I went through everybody.
Except mine. You didn't touch mine.
Finally, she just, like, I'm fucking done with this. Grabs one, throws it across the room damn near. It's like, look, it landed on a fucking 12. You're taking that. So ever since then, fuck porcelain dolls. Irritating motherfuckers.
And they don't do a lot of damage. It's
It's
just
just-
like a little bit of damage,
It's just-
but a lot of it.
It's they're a horde enemy, so
Yeah.
it's like, well, each one will only do like a handful of damage.
But that adds up real quick.
Yeah, when you're facing off against 30 of them, all of a sudden, handful after handful after
That like
handful,
2 or 3 damage stacks
they're
up.
no longer standing. But every now and again, including in D&D, she loves just to throw out a couple of porcelain dolls every now and again,
Just the spite.
just to fuck with me.
It's a long-standing thing. So one thing that is part of the Stone Age of our tables in our home games is that holy shit! Before we actually had like busy lives, during the early days of sleepy city me pretty hard sleeping. Is our games used to like start at like 12 in the afternoon and they used to go till like midnight. We used to have like 12-hour benders of like Call of Cthulhu and 5e.
Dude, there was one time that boss fight took so fucking long. I drove home in daylight.
I remember
I
that.
missed all of the darkness from the night. Came over in the middle of the day and left when the sun was fucking coming up. And I didn't need my headlights at all.
The times showing up here at like 9, 10 in the morning and not leaving until like damn near midnight.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, you showed up and it was like we got lunch, we jumped in the game, we had pizza here for dinner, and the boss fight was just endless. It was just a slugfest, and you didn't leave until like 9 o'clock the next morning. We're like, it wasn't even just like our normal like, hey, have a good night, we'll see you tomorrow. It was like, good night, fuck off, I'm going to bed.
Do we even fucking use words at that point? I think everybody just kind of grabbed their side.
You just evolved into cavemen at some point. There were
We
times
all
like
knew
this.
that we were doing like the standard goodbyes, but I think it just devolved into. That was.
What's even funnier is we didn't talk to each other the next day because we were all passed out.
Yeah.
And eventually, like 2 days later, we're like, all right, when's the next
We
session?
should probably check in on everyone. Could everybody just sound off real quick, make sure nobody's dead or passed out?
There's no way in
Okay,
hell we'd
thank
be
you.
able to do that today.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
No.
With our schedules and the way everything is and being older.
The type of work that we do as well.
Oh,
Dude, we'd have to request
On-
days off.
on a plus note, that brings me to another interesting note that Tom's going to groan at. And I've already discussed it quite a few times at the table, and it would require cooperation from these two assholes over here to deal with. I've actually considered running a 24-hour session for Second Life. The campaign would start in the morning, we'd run for the full 24 hours of Second Life, and each of us would take a 4-hour or so shift in DMing.
I'm down to do it. I don't know if I'd be coherent for some of it. I don't know,
Dude,
but
I'd have. Oh, God. I can't do that.
I'm down to do it though.
Well, it'd have to you'd have to cave and actually drink an energy drink.
It's a tough thing. Me and Mai tried to do the 24-hour comic book once.
Oh God, we didn't even get through it.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
You
that
just
was brutal.
caved as the artist. so I took it. All right, I'll make a comic book for blind people.
Dude.
took my comic, took the story and read it out in panels, and found a font of Braille and turned it in.
Dude, the 24-hour runs are like
They're brutal.
Those
they're. I will be honest with you, as creative as I can be and just like off the wall I can be, I can't run for 24 hours, man. I have batteries that will run out.
Yeah, it's like even like a 12-hour sounds doable, difficult, but doable.
I've done a 12-hour multiple times. That's doable for me. 24 hours?
Oh,
Mom was
fuck.
checking out for the night.
Yeah.
We had to do it at some point though.
But I think we could do it again if we had more collaboration with regards to what our story is going to be first.
I think I would like to really do something like a 24-hour run for Second Life. Yes,
Yeah.
it would be brutal, but it would be for a great cause.
Yeah.
God, would we probably need to take like a couple of days off afterwards? Yeah, because I would just sleep.
Sleep the first 2
We're
days.
gonna need at least like 2 full pots of some damn strong coffee. Like screw the energy drinks. It's gonna be like concentrated coffee, like Cuban coffee,
Death Wish Espresso.
stronger.
I might actually have to break down and have a cup of that.
Good, man.
Either I'm crashing here, whenever the fuck I pass out,
Tom,
or
roll
I'm
your
gonna
dice.
have to call somebody to get a ride.
Snoring. There's just snoring over there.
It's a tough slog thing to try to do.
Yeah.
Difficult, very difficult, but
Dude.
it can be done.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
it's
get
possible.
fucking moody when I get tired.
You haven't seen me moody yet.
There's so much that could fucking go wrong.
I turn into an entirely different person. Man.
When I get moody, Nate's like, I don't even want to talk to you. I know that, yeah, it's been a year since we started this online stream thing, and next year, damn. So many storylines to go, see where we end up by the end of next year.
Yeah.
How long do you see this campaign running? Took us a year to get 4 levels. 5 levels.
That's because I set out and I didn't want you guys to be rushing through levels. That's one takeaway that I've learned as an experienced GM is don't rush to the levels because there's no carrot at the end for the players. What's the reward at the end? Numbers on the paper.
Yeah.
Earning the levels and getting there and doing things and having these massive swaths of experience, and they're like kind of like a capstone of things. You guys got this level because you finished off one of Cayenne's arcs.
Yeah.
Dealing with, the Mushroom King.
or mushroom deity, the Muslim asshole.
It's like a lot of people like using the experience system for levels, but it's like you go through too fast. I personally prefer using the milestone system, because then you as the DM can set that tone and pace.
That's what we all use. We all prefer that. I've never.
Can't stand experience points. I've seen games just degrade into who gets there first, who wins, and that's not what a tabletop RPG
No,
is.
it's all
No,
about teamwork.
And it's about the stories.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like I said, the president of like, this is a story first campaign, all that stuff, gear, level, all that stuff. I could see this campaign honestly with the way the arcs are going. I've learned lessons here and there about how to make times in cities quicker. You've seen that with Castile. Things are moving quicker in Castile than they did in the other cities. Probably at least another 2 years on this campaign. It's a big one. They could end up at level 15. It could end up at level 20. It depends where characters drop off.
Yeah.
Because it's like, Mongo could find out something and be like, guys, Mongo's got to go. He's got things to deal with. And that's the thing is, like, some people deadlock their players into characters where it's like, no, you're not allowed to change. That's your character at the table. Sorry, fucking deal with it. But with the organic way I run the game, it's like you get to a crossroads. If a character has to stop for a while and you have to pick up a new one,
Yeah.
that's it.
Like I can totally see that like potentially happening with Scavard. When finally get an S and Crest,
He may have to stay.
he may have
Yeah.
to stay. Like-
So I know there's one D&D campaign that we were running where you had a character who had to fuck off for a little while and take care of some personal stuff. And you brought in another one that was batshit insane.
That was honestly just me wanting to play something different for a little bit. It's
Fucking
like,
worked,
I
though.
love Garrick. He's freaking a lot of fun, but I need to step away from it.
And one of my closest friends that I lost, he played a lizard folk, and he had all intention. I remember talking to him constantly. He was kind of like my battle buddy with D&D. And, yeah, he played that lizard folk, and he had no intentions of ever leaving that lizard folk, and things happen in game, and he's like, I gotta change characters.
Yeah.
This character has to adhere, what are my options? And we sat down and we went over it, and going forward, he had a new character, and
I'm gonna smite the door.
He's such a fun character. I didn't know
yeah.
him very long, but man.
yeah, I don't want to get into it because I don't want to bring up feels on the air about that, and it's a lot of feels.
Yeah.
But yeah, if characters have to go, I mean, Cayenne could step aside because of Osling and discovering their family
God,
stuff.
And like the potential is there that if Scaver does have to stay, or like you said, organically, can easily pick up another character that could end up being an agent of Scaver's that travels with the party that's from Essencrest. So
It could be something completely different.
it could also be something entirely different too. You never know.
It's one lesson that you've had to learn at my table is everything has to be organic and nothing could be inorganic. You're like, well, I want to go this route. And I'm like, why?
And yeah, it takes some time, but it's like, yeah, it's understandable.
Or like it's like all the actions, they have to have a reason in game as to why you're doing it. It's not like, do you want to do that as a player? It's like, would Mongo do that? Would Mongo be looking for that?
Yeah. My start level 1 spell list, I had no offensive spells at all. Not even produce flame I didn't have, because the way he grew up, he didn't need any.
Yeah.
If he got into a scuffle, using magic combatively never even fucking dawned on him, so he just rocked his paws.
Oh, here's one. Here's an interesting one to bring up. I know someone's actually asked this off stream. Is like, why are the characters so fucking blessed with like everything being so cheap and whatnot? Well, the picture's been kind of painted at the point as to why.
Yeah.
I think so, at least. It's been filled in as to why they've been so fortunate and things haven't been exuberantly expensive is because of their parents.
Yeah.
There's bigger strains at play here that are permitting the safety net that they currently have regarding things.
Yeah.
Thing is, at any given point, that could literally be ripped right out from under them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like things
When
have
are
been...
the safety gloves going to be taken off?
the safety net's been there. You've been, they're like, oh yeah, there are certain people in play. They're like, oh yeah, they're from the Obscura, so obviously they're going to get a different treatment than normal people.
Yeah.
And that's where like campaign 2 is. It's like you guys are nobodies and you don't have this. There's not this turn and.
Yeah, I go back to that with the Mantis tool that Nikolai got. It's like, that thing is fucking amazing and should not have been only 50 gold. Like, that had to have been left over for him to pick up.
And it's like, there is a safety net there, but it's because of the overarching strings that are at play.
Yeah.
And it's like, those can, like you said, can go away at any point.
Yeah. It's like I said, when it comes to D&D, you never know. Like, our characters, this first, season that we're doing, it could last another, year or two, or it could literally end next session.
The players could choose to be like, all right, we're going to go out like our parents did and do what we got to do. Because that's been realized at the table of, our parents did what they had to do because they had to do what they do. They had obligations, and they took up those obligations. And the revelation tonight that Nikolai's father knows Lufa's parents.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like, oh shit. So we already solved one of the Obscura's problems.
By fucking
Luck.
dumb luck. A random pull of a card.
Okay, that's
Well,
how you don't have an excuse. Cheddar wasn't even there.
Yeah, I don't know why that one just felt. That was just like, I'm done for the night.
Yeah, I still can't believe the fucking Lufa thing wrapped up.
Yeah, that was supposed to take a lot longer, and it wrapped up, and it's like, fuck, alright.
That's a whole storyline completed in a heartbeat. Okay.
That freed up so much of your choices for manga. You were you were planning how do I get to the point where I can cast a spell and actually do this thing?
Yeah. No, I literally took weekends to, once I got that spell to locate all the fucking pieces, I'm like, okay, what is the minimum level I have to be to actually safely cast this? Okay. So that means I've got this tiny amount. If I want to multi-class or do something else, I can fuck around with that, but I cannot cross that line. Or we're fucked. And then just all of a sudden, oh fuck, big ass spider. Alright, climb up there and drop Nigel. We'll keep him distracted. Fuck, I have no spells left. Card, let's blow some more shit up. Oh! We'll just make that whole thing take care of itself. Alright. Shut me down the entire fucking episode because I couldn't fucking think. But actually, no, I kind of overthought the list I fucking went through.
It's like a fucking Rolodex spinning in there.
Oh, here's a fun question. Outside of the stream campaign, what is your favorite moment from any other game?
It's probably a little too much right now.
I'll tell you right now, my personal favorite was my little halfling getting instantly obliterated with just 5 words. Hi, how you doing? Boom! He's just minding his own business, walking happily along.
You know what?
We can make this one short, Tom. I think we both have the same one. Ghostbusters.
Oh, fuck. Oh my god, that game is so fucking insane.
We crossed the streams and broke all of time in reality.
We didn't just cross the streams. We merged all of them into one. And that's after we used a proton pack to power the fucking Ecto-1 just to get, 30 feet?
was with our friend Mark. He was the one driving it and rolled a 1.
Yeah.
I love playing with that dude. I really do.
Oh, he's such good.
So good.
Why'd you break the van? That's
All right,
another,
that one was
That's
fun.
another good one.
That was a fun one. I really tried on that one to be very consistent.
One moment that we all do go back to, and there's various moments. It's like all my characters are just like moments that happen. It seems like they're just moments in time that happen. They each have like some moment that just fucking breaks everything. Kupo, she's not just a moment, she's a campaign.
Fucking Kupo.
And she's my little kobold of just pure fucking insanity. And the moment that a lot of people go back to is when her frying pan broke in combat. She stopped in combat,
Yeah.
withdrew from combat, ran to Tom's character, held up the pieces of the frying pan and said, "Fix it." And he was like, "We can't fix it. We're in combat." And she's like, "No, fix it."
Fix it!
No, you fix it now.
Just like the panic, just fix it! But the way that it happened.
Probably one of my favorite moments for one of your characters is your paladin for the pie.
Oh God,
That was ridiculous.
that was fucking crazy.
The pie.
She literally walked through combat, no weapons in hand.
Oh no, she had her sword on her, but it was stowed.
No, I said in hand.
Okay. She had a fork.
She had a fork.
But just everybody was just kind of hanging out, enjoying a meal. Some shit fucking happened, so like, all right. But she followed a god that something about like every time that you got to sit down and eat, you were gonna have like the best meal possible to show them like love and respect and all that. So
Yeah,
she brings the fucking pie with, and as she's eating it, walking up to the combat, finishes the pie, stabs a guy.
Using a
They drop. Goes on to the next one. Well, I don't have the fork, but I still got the plate.
Actually, she killed about 3 people with that fucking spoon or the fork before she
Yeah.
lost it. And then she started using the plate, and eventually she used the jawbone.
Yeah.
Yeah, just whatever the fuck random shit she had.
Yeah, mine
And she
showed
just
the power
Jason
of
Voorhees
Tavern
her
Brawler.
way through. Yet mine was actually built for some kind of fucking combat. What could I do? Fucking nothing. It was like that hallway scene in Iron Man 2 where Black Widow just goes through, knocks everybody out, and then there's Happy, who's struggling with one dude. It's like, I fucking got him! Nobody else left standing on the fucking battlefield.
Man.
Yeah, my paladin, she was designed in a way where, again, I always come up with these characters that are just so
Batshit insane?
unique.
Yeah.
Unique,
That's a
definitely,
word.
because some of them aren't batshit insane.
Where she was a paladin, she followed a deity. And the deity, the only way she would get involved in any sort of conflict or dealing with anything is if she was shown a sign by her deity, which happened to be food. And one of the catapults happened to destroy a pie shop. And she looked over and she's like,
Well,
I'm involved now. She went over to the pie shop, retrieved a piece of pie and the spoon or fork to eat it.
gave a little bit of a
And-
speech to rally the.
The troops saw that she was a paladin and asked for a speech, and she's like, okay. And it ended with, for the pie, and everybody just kind of looked around like, for the pie.
And it turned into this ultimate defining moment for this village that will forever go down as a legend. The Paladin of Pies.
No, one of my other favorite
Holy
characters.
shit.
What was that test campaign that we were doing?
That was the one.
No. This is a different one.
No, it's the same campaign.
Oh, that's right. Same campaign, different characters.
Yeah.
Those characters all went off somewhere.
Yes. Well, I
and-
designed the campaign where to do the test, where if you guys were going to do the test, you would leave your experienced characters in the town to help take care of the mess, and use your inexperienced characters to go out on a voyage or whatever. Either way, you're going to use the inexperienced characters going to be in the town or on the adventure.
Yeah. That one I would go back to in a fucking heartbeat. basically the experiment is how do you play without a class?
Yeah.
So everybody just kind of got to play
A peasant.
character
Yeah.
and not like, oh yeah, and my character is a wizard or a ranger or a paladin.
Yeah, you guys got to
whatever.
totally explore any possible thing.
Yeah, and
build
I
your class as you went.
never made that decision. So my character just went through and did fucking whatever.
It really did feel like
And
that.
he was basically in charge of keeping basically the mayor's daughter safe. Of course, his
He was
job
the
was
meat shield.
fucking irrelevant because he wasn't needed because she, just the way
Can't
that the
roll
character,
below 12 most of the time.
yeah, the way she was playing the character is like, well, she's just kind of like the princess rogue, despite the fact that like my character was getting into the family business, and that is basically the mayor's aide who handled all of the dirty work that the mayor
Didn't
may or
know
may
about.
not have known about. Most of it he didn't.
Shocker.
Yeah, so it's just like, okay, I've got to try to keep her safe. Hey, try not to stab that guy. It's probably not going to end well. No, but I can make it real quick and clean. He won't even notice. He'll be dead before he hits the ground. It's like, that's not what I fucking mean.
And along the lines of the same fucking campaign, my favorite moment for you was when Kelly rolled a natural 20 on lashing a tree to move the cart out of the ditch.
And suddenly Tom had to play two characters.
Tom had to play two characters simultaneous for like 2 sessions.
It was fucking great, and I would. The only thing that I would fucking change about that is let me play both characters that I've already established.
Yeah, okay.
Because one of them, that one that I happened to be playing, I was still trying to figure out.
Yeah.
But the other one was actually a long-term character. Actually, one of my longest-running characters to date, and
One
one
of
of my
the
earlier
best characters you've made.
Doomtree, a treant
Treant.
druid,
Drew.
who basically became the de facto barkeep.
Drink and imbibe other
Yeah,
various
basically, if you wanted to
imbibement,
get fucked up, you talk to
specialist.
Doomtree.
He
It's
can help
like,
you.
yeah, it's like, do you want to drink something? And it's like, what effect do you want? He was shitty at everything else. But you wanted to get fucked up, he's your dude.
Huh, kind of sounds like Mongo right now.
Yeah,
with the drinks.
basically.
Man, Doomtree is such an awesome character. I think that's one, honestly, aside from Xanaric and Mongo, I think Doomtree's like your best character.
Dude, it wasn't until that night that fucking RDM, Nate over here, decided, you know what? You guys are messing with me, now I'm going to mess with you. Fuck you in particular, buddy. That tree is your old character.
I think it was Kelly who said something along like, "What's the chance this is a treant?" It's like, you know what? It is,
Yeah.
and it's Doomtree. And Tom's like,
So basically, I had
He
to like
looked at you
remember.
and said, I remember
I
the look he gave
swore
you.
every fucking curse word, every way I could at him. But I had so much fucking fun.
You made the poor man play 2 characters. Mind you, complete polar opposite personalities.
And to be entirely honest, it was such a fucking learning experience because at that point in time, I didn't realize all of my characters were basically just the same. I just used different mechanics.
yeah,
That was it. Like, Xanric was just a bard. Gar was just a wizard. They were all the fucking same. So it's just like, great. So when I say something in one character, how's somebody supposed to know it's that one not opposed to the other one? And it's like literally having like 2 different fucking hats. Too much fucking effort. So it's just like, I mean, like physically, too much effort. Because I actually went to my car, grabbed like 2 different hats, like, okay, this is the one for Doomtree. When I'm wearing that, I'm talking as Doomtree. When I take it off and put on the other one, then I'm
Forgot
talking
about
as that
that.
other character.
I remember
When
that
I'm not
actually.
wearing
You
a
did do
hat,
that.
that's just the fucking player. It's like, this is just too much effort. So it's just like, alright, so that's one of the
I gotta
reasons why
change 'em
Mongo
up, yeah.
has a dumbass accent. But it's like, I would fucking do that shit again. in a heartbeat.
I remember one that is still notorious to this day, and I'm at the root of this one. I am the one that is the catalyst for this. 3 kobolds. That is all me. So, what? Huh?
Yeah.
So what
That's
happened?
still one of my favorite campaigns.
Buddy's like,
You-
let's
you-
fuck with Manny. How
You,
can I
you
best
don't know
fuck
the
with him?
actual story of that. So, I've toyed with the idea, and Nate knows I've toyed with the idea because I've talked to him about it a little bit, and I know how the mechanics would work as a single player. Yes, I actually went through all the mechanics. I'm like, how do you play 3 kobolds in a trench coat?
Trench coat as a single player.
I've even gone as far, and Tom would be terrified at this, of playing 6 goblins. And each one represents one of the stats on the stat sheet.
I thought about doing something similar to that.
And I would basically play 6 goblins that all basically unify to make a single character. Yeah, I am batshit insane, Tom. Don't even come at me sideways. So, we were on a walk, and the 3 of us were on a walk, and I'm like, hey guys, I got an idea. Manny's starting up this game, he wants us to play in it, we need to come up with characters. I'm like, I've always wanted to play do 3 kobolds in trench coat. Pack Tactics, you guys game. And so I'm the one that hatched the plan, and we all conversed with each other on that character. On those 3 different characters and the backstory, and we all... and Tom messaged me, he's like, look, you're going to have to come up with the backstory, and Nate's like, yeah, I agree. They both threw it at me, like, you have to come up with the backstory on how this is going to work.
Yep. Almost every single one of the games that I run, one of the things I always ask, what's your backstory? I kind of need to know this because I incorporate that.
And then we all had, like, an incorporated backstory, but we all kind of trickled our characters to him at a different time. And the dread finally hit him when the last character dropped. He's going, you motherfuckers.
Like, the first character that was introduced, oh, Kobold.
Cool.
Second character was introduced, Kobold. Okay,
Okay,
interesting. Cool. Look,
Dude,
I know there's a pattern, alright? 2 of them. Okay.
I think it was Melina did her, or Mai did hers one first, so it was Fingy. No, Tom, because...
It was 5s.
Yeah,
Fingies.
And then I turned it
Discount.
like the day before... day before the session discount.
And it's
And then
like
when you
5
all-
finger
also-
discount. And
3 kobolds,
as soon
all with the
as...
same fucking backstory. It's like, alright, what are you fuckers up to?
Yeah, it's like they all... Okay. 5s is introduced. I'm like, cool, Kobold.
Wizard.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah, and you messaged him, you're like, and Tom messaged me with the screenshot of, like, I need a backstory. And I'm like, he'll get one.
And Maya introduced her character.
Still no backstory.
Yeah, it's like, still no backstory yet. And I'm like, okay, cool.
You messaged me, you're like, hey, when do you give me the backstory? I'm like, I'm working on
Yeah,
it.
like 5s, Fingies. Okay, interesting.
A few days later.
Discount.
No backstory.
Wait a minute.
And then you got the backstory, and there was an
like-
audible, like, scream.
I think, if I remember, you were working in your office at the time.
I literally was
And you
I was in
actually,
the
and
fucking room when it dawned on him.
no joke, I distinctly remember her opening her door, peeking around the corner as I'm sitting there on the couch, like, what the fuck? Big old shit-eating grin on her face. And it's like, alright, let's do it. Let's roll with it. What's the worst that can happen?
Oh,
Man, to this day, this is one of my most favorite campaigns that I have ever run. And I cannot wait till we get back to it. Unfortunately, there are some characters that will be cut because...
we won't get into that.
Yeah.
But we didn't just break his brain, we broke his balls.
Oh,
Man, they did things that actually forced me to, like, physically go in and change some things in my campaign world in order to make this work. And I am so glad it happened. Because I have not had this much fun as a DM in such a long time.
And somehow,
Man.
Fingies made a 900-year legacy
Yeah.
in that world.
By just saying hi.
Hi.
Oh no, it wasn't hi. It was hi.
Breaking time is meddling with time is a dangerous thing.
I didn't just meddle with time. I fucking drop kicked it out the door.
There's so much in that world, and it started off really wild and crazy and wacky and just so much. It still blows my mind. It took you guys 2 hours to fight with a door. You killed eels in like 10 minutes. And then you fucking struggled for like damn near 2.5, like almost 3 hours.
Dude,
Just to get a door.
literally, a short idea that you can throw out there is just put a picture of a door and says, it's just a door. Every D&D player will understand that, and every DM will understand that.
Or the true BBEG.
It's just a door.
It's just a door.
And it really was just a fucking door. There was nothing special about this door.
We just couldn't get it open.
But holy shit, I've never seen anyone struggle.
We've
guys
all
done
had
that
it
to
as
me many
DMs.
times.
The first BBEG that we came across, we kind of wind up blowing your mind because it's like, okay, I got this one fucking thing set up. They're gonna struggle with it, but they'll get through it. We fucking wiped the floor with him in like what, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Man.
We threw him out the window and then grabbed a gold brick.
Dropped it and enlarged it.
Yeah.
And then you stole the little amulet that was supposed to revive him. And it's like, well, fuck, there goes that entire plot. But hey, I have to reward you for this.
Oh yeah, and then didn't we use all that money to like basically start our own criminal empire?
Yep.
Yep.
You completed a side quest for another kobold. And that was an entirely random dice roll. For this campaign, they were inside of the city. The city was called Winterspell, but they were on a new part of Winterspell. There was another part that was Old Winterspell, which was being used as a sewer system, but wasn't actually the sewer system. It was just the old city where the new
Yeah.
city was built on top of it. All the coins and relics and stuff in there was a 50-50 shot where it'd be absolutely worthless, or they'd be worth double, or I think it was double or triple their worth.
And you dared put that dice roll on me.
And they completed a side quest in an instant because they found I had to reward them with through the struggle that they did, because they put themselves accidentally into a very deadly encounter and then proceeded to
Fucked it over.
struggle with a door for like 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, let's go ahead and see. Like, roll the dice, motherfucker. Okay.
So
We're wish, bitch.
So, on top of that, us being 3 kobolds and already destroying one of his primary bosses and completing a side quest and starting our own empire, we also blew up half the city in the process.
Yep. There are
And blamed it on the guys that we were working against.
And
So
totally got us
everybody
covered.
fucking bought it.
I was
So-
like, what are these 3 little kobolds going to do?
in my world setting for the campaign, there is actually, it's like early steam to early diesel age, like that middle ground. So there is technology and such, and Warforged and machinery is really powerful old
Yeah.
magic and relic and stuff. They weaponized a core. They made a nuke. Keep in mind, the city of Winterspell in my campaign is the size of a fucking continent. There is now a crater in the middle of the city.
So,
Oh, and they became emissaries to the kingdom.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they dealt with a threat that had been plaguing the city for years.
so one of the things that I often put out there
That's what the legend goes.
that terrified Sneed and Manny on a spiritual level is when I start spitballing characters. Because of the levels I go to, and they can't predict the characters, and they're like, oh god, she's theory crafting again. There's a level of shitpost theory crafting, there's, will it work theory crafting, and then there's just like me as a GM theory crafting of like, okay, let's fucking see how this goes. The most crazy character I currently have, actually, she's not the craziest.
Which is what worries me.
I have a few that are crazier.
So, she's an Aracora, and she's based off a fluffy chicken.
Silkies.
A silky chicken. And she's a little plump. She's a cleric. So everybody's like, okay, so she's a silky chicken cleric. There's nothing odd about that.
Most fucking white.
And so her goal is she follows a deity very religiously. Whenever she goes to a tavern, she asks for their fried chicken or their baked chicken. And if it doesn't meet her standards, she will kill the chef and proceed to pay off the family. Of like, I killed them. They didn't cook the chicken accordingly. Her goal in life, per her deity, is to find a proper chef that can use the sacred 12 herbs and spices of her deity and cook her successfully in her deity's name.
It's an absolutely fucking insane character.
It's an absurd character idea. I love it. I have no idea how the fuck I would roll with that in my campaign world, and I don't know if I would allow it.
I've never run a game. I'm not a GM. I'm not a DM. None of it. Not planning on doing that anytime soon. I've already banned it. Because I don't fucking know. How do you deal with that shit?
Nope, you can't play that
just
character.
Don't.
And that's one of my least crazy characters because I think so far outside the box now.
Yeah, your character that you've created for my next game is just fucking insane.
Man. Going back to the idea of multiple characters taking up like specific attributes. I had a similar idea. It was a character I ran a long time ago. It was so much fun. I enjoyed this character, and it is it was a knight, and knights have this unique feature called retainers. Well, these retainers were characters that didn't specifically do anything important, aside from help out the knight with various things. They didn't get into
Like
combat.
straightening their teeth?
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, this knight didn't actually do anything at all. See, he was more or less a squire. All the retainers were actually the ones that did everything, and he was the one that just controlled this like it was mouse folk. And it was basically they had it was an artificer mouse folk that had a steel defender with the knight background. But the steel defender was a literal like mini walking fortress, and it was literally a squad of mecha warriors. And the mouse that was the main character of this was just the pilot. Every other retainer did specific things. You had one that did all the magic, one that did all the melee, and one that did all the utility. But if one of them went down, you can't do anything with that. That character didn't go anywhere with any of the games aside from the one that I ran years ago. I would love to see how that would work in 5e. Because that was a Pathfinder character.
So I have another character that would not be allowed at their table. And it's literally a character that goes around and they go to each town and they go find every single paladin, every single cleric, and they find every single wizard. And their sole purpose is, you're not really casting that, you just think you are, and just completely break the mental state of them so they just question their existence going forward. Yeah, the character literally just breaks them like, you don't really believe in a god.
Think about.
You just think you believe in a god. The cleric will probably just, with the way I roll and having like the bard class that literally is the diplomat class.
Oh, eloquence bard.
Eloquence
one
bard.
that talks. And it's just like you have no choice but to believe what
So
they say.
this character would just literally go around and just be like, just break.
Can't roll
Characters.
below a 10.
So just go up to a paladin. You don't really think you have an oath. You're just assuming you have an oath. You just really want to go home and retire on a farm and think about this oath and how wrong you've been your whole life. And just convince them so hard that they just like stop what they're doing like, yeah, you're right.
Just a powerful speaker.
And what's your character do? I talk. No, but what does your character do? Talk to them.
Just imagine with a bunch of bandits. You really think you're robbing us, but you're just actually proving a point for us. What's going to happen is we're going to kill you, but you have this opportunity to just stop your evil ways, go home, be with your families, find that other person, and just retire and be happy.
The fucking rage roll.
Oh, so you know how there's a trope that goes around when people creating characters, that D&D character always needs to be a tragic backstory. No, it doesn't always have to be. Another one of my favorite characters, and I know this one would not be allowed at my table ever, and it's Mr. Swaggins, a halfling divination wizard that's basically just a reality manipulator. He's the dice master, essentially. Yeah. And it's like, just JK, roll your way through everything. And the whole idea behind it is he's just a really fucking lucky guy. Just extremely lucky. Like, he has no reason or right to be going out and doing shit.
Your min-max is showing.
I have, yeah? But it's like, it's such a fun idea of just playing just this regular fucking dude that's just lucky as hell.
Also, Kupo was actually just the shitpost character that became the party lead.
Kupo's a gem.
Kupo's a 2-year-old running a D&D party.
Kupo is still a gem.
It's like, deadly encounter. Kupo just prances through.
Yeah. Deadly encounter. Kupo's like,
No,
fuck your encounter.
Okay, there's one encounter. We actually got this dude out of his chair and like going from one side of the fucking room all the way to the other. It was fucking great, and I missed that. Like literally every other time that he's ever DM'd, I've been trying to get him to do it since, and I haven't been able to do it. But there was one time he got so fucking pissed.
Oh, I remember
Not
that.
like he's gonna like fuck you guys. I don't want to talk to you anymore. But it's just like he intentionally created this encounter that, according to all his fucking math, should have like intimidated everybody else and gotten them to turn left. Nope.
Ah, shit, here
We
we
went
go again.
through them, mostly because of Kubo, and then defeated them, which, according to him, we weren't supposed to be able to do, but just with fucking dice rolls.
Brute force, okay? We brute forced our way through. We had no right to survive that. But we said, fuck it, here we go. This is happening now.
What'd you throw at us, like purple worms or something?
It was multiple purple worms.
I think they were like
They
two
were-
baby purple worms.
Yeah, they were younglings, and you literally just got the fuck out of there, like a turn before adult one was gonna come by.
Kupo would have probably been like, "Oh, a worthy challenge!"
She,
Those worms showed up. Bless their hearts, they did not survive. To put into perspective, a purple worm, like, this whole room would fit within a youngling purple worm's mouth.
is that the one where Kupo broke the frying pan, or was that with somebody else?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly where they came from.
No, I think
Kupo's
that was
literally
somebody else.
the thing of when you put the 2-year-old in charge of the party.
Yep.
This also was with Argo.
Oh, you found out how
The
spiteful.
the fat elf.
Man, so I was playing a little
Boy.
elf that was like a teen elf. There was a little pyromancer, and on top of that, he was just like a little fat kid. Okay, just a little fat kid. That
And
was
he
going
got
on
on the
adventure.
wrong side of Kupo.
Oh my.
Man,
So
Yeah.
he got so far on the wrong side of Kupo, she got angry.
Well, okay, how it started was one, Argo and Kubo never quite fully got along, which was hilarious because Kubo always wound up winning and everybody else took the side of Kubo. It's like, come on, she's a kid, ease off.
Yes, saved him to death.
Yeah, she literally healed people by smashing them in the face with a rock. And yes, they got healed, not a head injury. I don't know how that works, but it did, okay?
Kupo logic.
Yeah.
Fucking choked him to death and then revived him.
But what had happened was we split the party, some went off this way, some were there, and it's like, okay, we need to do something to try to find them. They like wrap a towel or something around like a bow or an arrow, and one's about to launch it, and young Argo and all of his infinite wisdom, oh here, let me help you aim and do that, and little Kupo got an arrow to the back. Stops what she's doing, heads in the source of the arrow. Link. Who? Well, technically, this one fired it, but he kind of aimed it. Oh, you. She then proceeds to open up a new pocket. And by that I mean she stabbed young Argo in the kidney, shoved in a silver coin, and then healed him. The coin didn't come out, mind you. It's still there.
Yep.
On
Why
the
that didn't
plus
cause
side-
some sort of infection, we don't know.
Because it was silver.
Yeah.
I mean, it can cause.
Does it give him advantage on fighting off lycanthropy? We don't know.
That's
That
another
question
point.
was asked. But yeah, he learned the hard way. You don't fuck with Kupo.
Oh, yeah.
Ever.
Oh yeah, another deadly encounter he threw at us. Those spiders. And then Argo shows up and it's like, hey, guess what? Bye, spiders.
No, that wasn't actually a deadly encounter.
The other thing about the whole coin with Argo, not only does he have a coin in him, Kupo likes to use heat metal on it as a reminder.
Yep. Man, there are so many games that we have played in that some of them we probably never going to get back to.
But-
Unfortunately.
The thing is that we have fond memories of those games, which is the important thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can sit around and just discuss our campaign stuff and randomness that happened.
For now, what, 2.5 hours?
We've answered questions too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, questions turn into story time, and then it turned into life stories.
Dude, yeah, D&D is about the stories, and it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you play as long as we have, you have a bucket of stories.
There's a lot, and it's honestly like one of the best ways to make some really good friends.
Yeah. And the tabletop you play with, eventually you find a group of friends you always go back to and play with. Some come, some join, some move on, some
Yeah.
pass off.
And honestly, it doesn't even need to be D&D. There's so many games out there.
Dude, there's so many now, and they just keep expanding.
Yeah.
I see so many Kickstarters for game systems popping up now. It's like, fuck.
Oh no! A while ago, I started like work. I don't know how or why. My head just works this way, so deal with it. Started going through like okay, game night's coming up. Like, what are some of my favorite things about it? And like, I get through like 10. You'd think somewhere in there is like the actual game of D&D, and it's not. It's like snacks ranked way higher.
Well, thanks.
The snacks, the memories,
Yeah,
the stories,
hanging out with friends.
just the time, just the disconnect from reality, and just plunging yourself into fantasy for a little bit.
Building a rich world helps you guys do that.
Inadvertently creating characters that are different aspects of your personality, so that way you can actually work on issues.
Learning
Alright.
that you have your own personal issues.
Who said that? Sparta? Was that you?
There's a lot to take away from it, and honestly, it all depends on you. Only way to really find out is just get out there and jump into it. There's a lot of ways to do, and even then, you don't necessarily have to be in a local group like this.
Yeah. One of my coworkers, one buddy of mine, he has a Friday night game, except nobody's in the same state.
It's all online.
Yeah.
Online games are rough, though.
Yeah.
They are. They can be very difficult to have matching time frames, and scheduling conflicts can happen a lot. I deal with that a lot as a DM and scheduling conflicts. But it is what it is. I mean, like,
So,
The biggest nemesis of playing any TTRPG, scheduling.
yep. That's bigger than any BFG. Yeah, fuck.
BBF.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done, so. Alright, so we gone on way past how long I was going to have this run for, but it's okay.
it's 118.
We're also starting to repeat ourselves a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit, and
Yeah.
this guy will shut up over here.
I'm guilty. Look, I'm guilty of repeating myself. It happens a lot.
So we're gonna go ahead and call it a night on the Q&A. It was really enjoyable to have people just jump in, comment, talk, share things. It's like the on the spot questions.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good response. D&D is not group therapy, but it gives similar benefits.
Yep.
It really does.
Yeah.
Well, Happy New Year's, everybody.
Happy New Year's. We thank you for tuning in for the Q&A part of this and spending New Year's with us.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna call it a night.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Any other questions? We got a Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Don't
ask away.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask. But also, like, if you know anyone, or even like think anyone would be interested in this type of stuff, share it with them. Spread it around.
We love to just, take our home game, one of them, and put them on the stream. All right, everybody have a good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Cheers. Happy New Year's.